The leader's controversial design is a marked departure from his comic book look, and while I initially balked at the MCU's rendition, Captain America, Brave New World's director has changed my mind. Captain America, Brave New World has proved divisive, with fans and critics split on whether it succeeded as a sequel to The Incredible Hulk and Anthony Mackie's ability to portray a compelling capital. I enjoyed the movie, and as a fan of the MCU, I'm always happy to see connections to the wider universe, even if the supposed Captain America sequel is more closely related to the Hulk. I admit Captain America, Brave New World has faults and understand if detractors have soured on the tried-and-tested MCU formula it typifies. I also won't pretend I'm not miffed by the fact that Hulk was once again sidelined in a movie that starred characters specifically related to him. I feel like we missed out on the Hulk vs. Red Hulk fight we all deserved, while the loss of Bruce Banner's Savage Hulk persona meant that the leader's debut was always going to be less impactful. I'm at least happy to accept that the leader's redesign was the right move. Why the leader's design in Captain America, Brave New World has been controversial. Fans were expecting a more comic-accurate look. Samuel Stern in Captain America Brave New World next to the leader from Marvel Comics. Custom image by Milika Djordjevic. The leader is arguably Hulk's most iconic nemesis, as the intellectual opposite to the Hulk's unmatched strength. Ever since his arrival was heralded by the tease in The Incredible Hulk that saw Samuel Stern's head begin to expand from exposure to Hulk's blood, I and many others have been eagerly anticipating what this debut might look like. Long after learning Samuel Stern's would return in Captain America, Brave New World, leading to the prevailing assumption that it would be as the leader, we got our first look at Stern's in leaked concept art posted to X by MCU faculty. Most of the responses to this artwork were positive, and for good reason. This character design for the MCU's live-action leader was pretty comic accurate, if a little paler than the more vibrant Stern's from Marvel Comics. In the picture, Stern's cranium has significantly expanded, though his brain remains decidedly contained within. He even sports a goatee similar to most of the leader's appearances in Marvel Comics. This was a stark departure from what was ultimately depicted on screen. Tim Blake Nelson's leader looks more grotesque, with his brain bulging through his skull and one of his eyes apparently suffering the ill effects of being heavily irradiated by gamma. It was a bold move from Marvel to move so far from the leader's most recognizable designs, and many fans were quick to voice their disapproval, especially as the concept art set such different expectations. I was initially among them until I learned the reasoning behind the choice. Captain America, Brave New World's director recently explained the leader's design. The leader's character design keeps him more grounded. Captain America, Brave New World director Julius Onah recently spoke with The Hollywood Reporter about several choices made regarding the leader. He elaborated, for example, on the fact that the leader is mostly seen bathed in shadow, revealing that he wanted to shroud the villain in mystery and stall on his reveal until Sam Wilson began piecing his plan together. Regarding the bold design choice for the leader, Onah revealed that it was to ensure the leader fit the more grounded tone of the film, stating, "It's clear to see what Onah means about, practically, designing the leader." Tim Blake Nelson's makeup feels decidedly more real compared to the Red Hulk, for instance, though I think Red Hulk's CGI was incredible. Nelson himself spoke about his appearance in an interview with Empire magazine in December, revealing that he even had a hand in the design choices when stating, "I requested that we do what we were going to do, practically, which was a huge help, because I liked being able to feel the weight of the deformation on my head, rather than just wearing dots. I've changed my mind, the leader's design makes more sense to me now. It more accurately reflects the results of gamma irradiation." Following Onah's comments, "I get it. Captain America, Brave New World attempted to evoke the grounded tones of what many believe to be the best Captain America movie, Captain America, the Winter Soldier. Whether it succeeded is a matter of debate, especially when a Red Hulk is involved, but it is certainly fair to say that it delivered on the most grounded possible depiction of a man whose superintelligence is the result of severe gamma irradiation. The leader's most common design in Marvel Comics may be striking, but it is hardly an accurate depiction of what would result from gamma exposure. At the same time, it is arguably better confined to the comic book page. I love a comic-accurate depiction of Marvel characters as much as any fan, but the MCU is still, mostly, in the business of making its superheroes and supervillains look as real as possible. Part of what makes characters like Iron Man so iconic is that we can readily believe that he could exist in the real world. Sure, Hulk is a little harder to believably realize in live action, but that doesn't mean Marvel should preclude itself from rendering more believable villains. The MCU's leader design might even be better than the comics. A comic-accurate leader would have looked quite silly. The leader attacks in Marvel Comics. I might even go so far as to say the leader is the latest example of how Marvel's creative license in MCU movies has improved the character. The Vulture in Spider-Man, Homecoming, for instance, is a far more believable version of the character than the Adrian Toomes of Marvel Comics, who looks decidedly more hammy than the more intimidating live-action iteration. The sequel, Spider-Man: Far From Home, also delivered a more believable rendition of Mysterio, who wielded drones and holograms to create his characteristic illusions. When looking at the leader, audiences are immediately reminded of his origins. The mutation emulates what we would expect and helps to make him appear far more terrifying than his comic book counterpart. I'm confident that the leader would be hard to take seriously if he sported an expanded skull like his comic book counterpart. We need only look at the reaction to MODOK to see what uncannily large heads do to a supervillain. After all, it also helps to humanize Samuel Stearns, setting him on a path to being another in a long list of sympathetic Marvel villains. He is aware of how his appearance might scare people, causing him to cover his head and hide himself throughout most of Captain America: Brave New World. Ultimately, however, I think that a more realistic MCU villain is a positive thing most of the time.